Thank you for joining us for the 2-minute drills. I'm Aram Tolegian, joined by Fred J. Robledo.
Sir.
Freddie, it feels like just 3 months ago I was 30 pounds less, and we had question marks about all, these high school football teams in our area, and now here we are. It's December, or it's going to be by the time this one kicks off. It's CIF Championship Week, and the CIF Finals are back at Los Altos yet again. Los Altos hosting Paraclete for the Division 6 Championship. Los Altos 13-0, the number 1 seed. Paraclete 9-4, not seeded, Freddie.
Yeah, well, not seeded, Aaron. I mean, look, they started 0-3 because they lost to Los Alamitos, Serrano, and Oaks Christian. They lost another game later in the year to Sierra Canyon 35-7, the team that pulled away in the second half and beat Charter Oak last week. So Paraclete, they played, they're like a La Mirada in that they really step up their competition early in the year because they have that kind of program. I mean, they've got Coach Dean Harrington now from Alamany in his first year over there, and he's got them rolling. And, you can't look at that record and say you're facing a 9-4 team because of who they face. So let's put that away. But we've seen Paraclete a lot over the years, Aaron, whether it was against Pomona, whether it was against San Dimas, whether it against Monrovia in Mid-Valley, or even was it Southeast Division?
No, it was the Mid-Valley.
Mid-Valley Division Championship games. We've seen them out here, and my thoughts on them is they're a lot like our teams out here, like the Charter Oaks when they're good, the Los Altos when they're good. I thought, San Dimas in one of the games, I remember San Dimas beating them, I think about 3 or 4 years ago in the championship game at San Dimas.
Right.
They beat Pomona, I think it was Pomona last year or 2 years ago.
Makes sense.
Yeah,
they've always been playing these little.
And they've always had those games. So here we go. It's another one of those games with Paraclete, and I just think you look at Los Altos being undefeated right now. I think they've played a pretty good schedule, setting themselves up for this. I thought that win over Long Beach Wilson last week.
Yeah.
I was extremely impressed with Long Beach Wilson. I understand now those teams from the Moore League, and although they're not a Division I caliber team anymore, they're still a darn good football team from that league. And it took everything Los Altos could do to pull that game out, including that Cayman King game winner with no time on the clock to send them to the finals this week.
Right. Like you mentioned, Paraclete, Freddie, they've been moved up, finally. I know a lot of the old Mid-Valley Division teams thought, like, hey, why have these guys in Sierra Canyon stayed in our division? Well, this was the first year that Paraclete got moved up. They're in D-6 now. Yeah. Sierra Canyon, another former Mid-Valley contender, got moved up to D4. And it's funny we mentioned Sierra Canyon because
you were there last week. I'm curious what your thoughts on how good they were, given the fact that they beat Paraclete 35-7.
This is a roundabout, comparative scoring situation here. Sierra Canyon last week played Charter Oak. They won the game 42-19. We all know what Los Altos did to Charter Oak earlier in the season. A rather easy win. Granted that Charter Oak was having the QB issues that they had them.
They've had those all year.
Right. Now Paraclete played Sierra Canyon and lost to them 35-7. So if Sierra Canyon was able to beat Charter Oak, and that game was close until the last 4 or 5 minutes.
Right. It was a close game.
If they're able to beat them, in kind of a close game, don't look at that final score, and Los Altos was able to blow out Charter Oak, and Paraclete lost to this Sierra Canyon team in a blowout, then that paints a very, very good picture for Los Altos. Yeah. Now, it's very dangerous to sit here and, compare A to B, B to C, C to D. But that just kind of tells you that this looks like it's going to be a very, very close situation, Fred.
Yeah, Paraclete has a runner, Jamal Bell, who's been kind of doing it for them all year, and a quarterback named Tooney. I'm not even going to try his last name because it's pretty difficult to pronounce. But look, Los Altos, I was impressed with them last week. Early in the year when we were talking about Los Altos, winning a lot of games, you'd made that one comment about them being a one-trick pony. And they're really not. I think we've seen that, and maybe they were earlier in the year, but I think as these games have gotten tougher, and you can't win championships or these semifinals like Long Beach Wilson last week, you can't win that being a one-trick pony. And the times they were able to make it tough on Tyler Evans, Cody almost comes in there, and I think he's done a great job managing the game at quarterback for Los Altos. He's not trying to beat you with anything really down deep, downfield, but he throws for first downs and he moves that chains And when Nevins kind of gets stuck at 4 or 5 yards, and it's that 3rd and 5 or 3rd and 4, and they need a little first down pass, Cody almost has been able to deliver that for him. And I think they're going to need that balance in a championship game on Friday night. And their defense has been so good. When they needed big stops, they've got big stops to get the ball back, to keep them in, to keep them in games. There were a lot of series where Long Beach Wilson shut them down last week, but their defense answered right back to keep them in the game. They were always kind of ahead until Long Beach Wilson took the lead late in the game, and then they answered late in the game. But I'm seeing a similar game like this.
All right, man, pick it, because this looks like a total coin toss.
Yeah, I'm going with Los Altos. I'm not picking Los Altos to lose, only because I've seen this a lot. The way I look at it, if San Dimas can be in games of Paraclete, of Pomona, Monrovia, why not Los Altos? This is more of a. These are some of the better public schools, I think. I think Los Altos, when they're on, is better than a San Dimas when they're on. I think better than a Pomona when they're on. I think the Monrovia teams a few years ago, there might be some comparisons, but this is a 13-0 Los Altos team. And look, Aram, a lot of those guys, including Nevins, were in that championship 2 years ago when they got smacked by Colony in the final. Yeah. They remember that when they couldn't host that game on their home field because the grass was terrible and they had to go to Cerritos College despite all their complaints to CIF. Now they're at home. They get to host this game at home in front of their fans, in front of their new field. They haven't lost on that field this year yet, obviously.
They haven't lost at all.
At all. And I think they're going to finish the job. I just got to believe they're going to finish the job. And when Los Altos gets rolling, there are a lot of alumni there last week. And I was talking to some of the people. I thought it was packed, but they're saying it's not as packed as it will be this week because it was the day after Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
You watch. This Friday night, it's going to be crazy at Los Altos. This time, they get it done and they're going to be ready.
I tell you what, Fred, I've seen Dale Ziola in these big games throw wrinkles at teams, throw curveballs here and there. Los Altos isn't going to go away from Nevins and being a smash mouth team at all, but you can bet your butt that he's going to do something here or there to try and create a big player, create a situation, or throw some bad thoughts into Paraclete's mind. But I think Harrington is going to do the same thing. I think he knows he's got to come and take this stadium by storm and get it into a Paraclete type game. So this is just really, really intriguing. You're going to see some serious coaching chops on display in this game. And you're also going to see all the things that make these two teams really, really great.
Right.
So
and it's kind of funny, on the radio, we've been talking about Petros Papadakis.
Yeah.
He obviously doesn't know this side of the valley.
No.
He's the one who said
but he knows Harrington.
But he's the one who said La Habra is a Cinderella team. Yeah, and he knows Harrington. So he kind of dismissed this game. So don't worry about it. Spirits are going to win the game this week.
Yeah, and it's kind of funny because I asked the Paraclete kids about Petros picking them at the CIF luncheon. They had no idea. Okay, and the Los Altos kids we heard
whatever.
that.
Yeah.
I don't think anyone really knows who Petros is. Anyways, but they do know that this one's going down.
This is going to be great.
At Los Altos in the Heights. What better setting could you ask for, Freddie, than this?
Yeah.
Magical place. Los Altos High School, Friday night against Paraclete, Division 6 champion.